Really quickly before we get started, let me go ahead and show my screen again before I forget. Have church windows open. While we're working through today's material, Marla is in the room also, and she'll answer any questions you have pertaining to the topic. As I'm showing, if you open the question panel on your GoToWebinar toolbar, you just click the plus sign. You can type questions in there, and Marla will answer those. And then once I'm done showing you the different reports, I'll ask if there's questions, and I'll just go ahead and read those out loud and answer them out loud for everyone. So let's go ahead and take a look. I already opened donations to save time in case it opened a little slower on this computer. So let me go ahead, whoops, click on donations to bring that up. Just so you didn't have to sit and watch me enter a batch, I've already got one here waiting that we can look at reports on. So I'll go ahead and click on enter donations. Now, if you didn't know, if you've entered a batch and you saved that batch to come back to it later, or for some reason you saved it, you will see saved batches on a screen when you hit enter donations. It will show you any unposted batches, and we don't have any logins set up here, but if you do have logins, it will tell you what user entered that, and you'd need to log in as that user to access and post that. I'm just going to click on Edit Batch, so it takes us right to that Enter Donation screen, and we can see down in the bottom here we have an unposted donation batch, 16 items in here, and it's today's date. Now, whether you print reports or not from the batch, or after you hit post, or print them afterwards, that's entirely up to you. Some churches I talk to print everything. They print one before posting, they print one after posting, or you might not want to print any of them. Maybe you want to print up a log report after you've posted batches. Maybe you just do it once a month. When and what you print is entirely up to you. But some churches like to print out before they even post the batch. I want to show you here. What we get on the printout depends on, over on the right here where we have the Detail tab and the Account tab, what is printed depends on which of those tabs we have selected prior to clicking Print. So we'll start with the Detail tab. Down along the bottom, if I click Print, I can choose to show detail or hide detail. First, let's look at Show Detail. Brings up a screen where you can choose the font, type, and size. You could change how it's grouped and sorted, or choose the columns you want. I'm just going to go with the default here, and let's click Print to see this report. Now, if I print this prior to hitting the Post button, meaning this money is not posted and won't show on reports outside of this Enter Donation screen, up at the very top tells us what date and everything it is, but it does say the word unposted. So that indicates to me, if I were to look at this later, and this is the only report I have, this batch, when I printed this report out, this batch was not posted to donations yet. And we'll see that on all of these reports that I'm going to show you prior to hitting the Post button. Now, if I click on Print and I choose Hide Detail, then we don't have the option of grouping and sorting or columns. It's just a default report where I can choose the font type and size and everything that I want. But if I click Print here, whoops, let's get rid of my highlighting up there. We still have the word unposted up at the top, but notice the Hide Details report that we can print when we're on the People tab there shows each person and a grand total of what I've entered for them. And we see it is a count of 16. Let's close that. I'm sorry, that was on the Detail tab, not the People tab. If we look lower right here. Now, if I click this Account tab, notice that shows now per account what I've entered. And if I click the plus, I can see the details of that. If I want to print this out, I can click Print along the bottom. And my first choice is to show detail, so let's take a look at that. If I choose show detail, I have the same screen come up as when I'm on the account tab, but my group and sort is different because I'm on that account tab. It's grouping and sorting by account. And I have a few different columns here, but you could change those if you'd like. But if I click print, we see this report again up at the top. It says unposted, but it's breaking down by each account that I've entered donations towards, and then showing the details of who gave what to those different accounts. Now let's close that. And last, if we click on print while we're on that account tab, and then we click hide detail, again, just like on the detail tab, when we click print and hide detail, we only have the option of changing our fonts. And if we click print, the report is showing me for each of the giving accounts I entered something to for this batch. It's showing a grand total for each of those giving accounts. And again, because I have not hit the post button yet, this is an unposted batch of donations, all of these reports at the top have shown the word unposted. While we're here real quick, I know earlier on the phone or on an email someone was confused. Notice right up here at the top it tells me what date this is for, 10/28. Now I entered this as the same date as we're on today, but had I chosen a different date, the date in the upper left corner is the actual date I'm sitting at the computer and entering it. The date at the top middle is the date occurred, the date I chose to enter this to. So that's what you can go ahead and print out before posting if you like. And again, the difference there is it has the word unposted at the top. Now I can click post or post and transfer, and then it's going to ask me if I want to print. The thing here is when I hit post and it asks if I want to print, I'm not going to have the opportunity to print a detailed show detail and hide detail, and then an account report where I show detail and another where I hide detail. So you want to, you're going to have an opportunity when you hit post to print one report, and it's going to print whichever of these tabs you're on when you hit post. So if I'm on this detail tab and I hit post, first, it's seen that Wednesday is not a Sunday date, so it's asking if I want to continue, and I can say yes. And it told me these transactions were posted totaling this amount. Do you want to print? And I can say here, yes, I do want to print. And I forgot this one does default to detail, but it's already grouped and sorted by account. Actually, that's a little odd. Go ahead and click print. It looks like, I don't know, we are showing you this in version 18. I'm a little stunned or shocked there because we were on the detail tab, but it showed us an account report. So that was not what I expected. So I'm going to write that down and see if that was maybe a bug that's occurring in version 18. Because I really expected that to show me a detail by person. But notice now that I've posted that and I said print and I brought that up and I could send it to my printer, I don't have the opportunity to then also print a report by account or any of the different amounts of detail that we could do prior to posting. Oh, and I forgot to show you, I wanted to show you one more thing. Let's just enter one more thing. Now, if you forget to enter something for a date, I've had people call and say, I've already posted it, I want to get back into that batch. You can't get back into that batch after it's posted. What you do is you just enter it with the same date and post it. But let's go ahead and hit post here. I wanted to show you up at the top. Here, notice it is showing the word posted because when I said yes to print, I had already hit the post button, so this is posted donations, and that is why this report is saying posted. All right, now let's say you've already posted your batches, you didn't say yes, you wanted to print, and you realized, oh no, I wanted to print those reports out. It's okay. You can still print out something very similar. It won't say batch report at the top, posted or unposted, but we can get the same information on what was given and who gave. Now, if you would like to print the detailed report of individuals with all their different giving, we can go up to Reports Export along the top and click on Donation Report and choose Donation Log Report. Now here I would want to go ahead and put in the specific date occurred that I want to print. Then I can click on my Group and Sort tab, and I want to sort by giver. I want to group by that field, and I want to show subtotals. I'm mirroring what I was showing in the Enter Donations screen when I brought up the printout. Now in columns, luckily I wrote this all down because I can't remember all this, going back and forth. I want to add giver. Now you may have different columns, but if you want to add the same columns you normally have when you print out a report, then you want to come into columns and add those exact columns. And now if I click print, I have a report that shows me for the 28th. I see each person, what they gave, and a total. Now one thing it doesn't show here because I'm not printing it out of Enter Donations. It doesn't have the date right at the top. So I might want to add the donation date column so I actually see that on the report. Here I can see the donation date of 10/28. Again, remember this date in the upper left is the actual date I'm sitting at the computer doing it, and I just happened to enter a batch for today. I didn't even think about I could have entered a different date so we'd see the difference there. Now if our donation comments are going off the edge of the page, I can click on columns and I can adjust the column width of some of these, bump some of these down, so I can fit all this to one page. Ooh, 45 for the account. I don't think we need 45 there. Let's bump that down to 20. That might do it. So now if I play around with those, hit print, now I have everything on one page and it's telling me the details by giver for what I entered and posted today and forgot to print out. Now, maybe you want that detailed report, but you want to hide the actual details of the check number and all the accounts and all that different information. So still, we would do a donations log report, but we're going to choose on the filter tab, we're still going to do the date occurred of today. Group and sort, we're going to group and sort it by giver and check group by field, but we're also going to check totals only. I don't need to go to columns now because I've checked totals only. If I click print now, I'm getting a report similar to the hidden detail report by person showing each individual who gave on this date and the exact amount they gave. All right, let's go ahead now. If you need a report that we see when we're on that account tab and we click print and show details, then again, that would be the donations log report. On the filter, we'd put in the specific date. On the group and sort, I'm going to uncheck both of these items and I'm going to choose sort by account. Let me go over the columns tab, and normally I showed giver, check, so I'll move that up, amount, and comments. So I'll move that up, and then I'll move over any of these other fields I don't need. Move over donation comments. I'm going to go back to my group and sort here, and I want to group and sort by account, and I want to group by that field also. Now if I click print, this is giving me the same information as if I were in Enter Donations on that account tab and I clicked print, show details. This is essentially the same report. It doesn't say posted or unposted at the top because it is posted once you go to one of the actual donation reports. But here we see it's grouping by each account that I entered something towards, and it's showing the details of each individual and all the other columns I added as well. Now, the last report that you can get out of Enter Donations is the Account Hide Detail Report. If you forget to print that we could do on the log report screen. We could stay right here, do essentially what we've done, grouping and sorting by account, and then totals only. And then it gives me, for each of those accounts, just a total of what was entered. Or you could, just about anything I think could be printed out of the log report, depending on how you group and sort things, and what you choose to be your main group and sort, and whether you want totals only. Now, you can't compare totals there. This is really just what was given. But let's look. The other report that will give you that directly and without having to put quite so much in is the giving summary. If I go to giving summary, put in my date occurred that I need and hit print, notice here I don't have to go to a group and sort tab or anything like that. I just put in my date, hit print, gives me a total, and then it shows each of my giving accounts and what the total was for each of those for that date. Someone just asked, I'll answer that, Marla, is there a way to make portrait mode my default for printing? Well, typically the reports, if I go up and change the layout on the report, under page setup, I can change to portrait or landscape. Let me just pretend I'm sending that to the printer. We're not hooked up to a printer, so I'm going to turn it to a PDF. So it thinks it printed it. Close that PDF because we really don't need it. But now that I've changed that to landscape, should hold that setting, so when I come back in and print a giving summary again, let me write this down. Not holding orientation changes. Typically it holds that setting, so I'm not sure if this is a minor bug that's in 18, because I am showing you this on the new 18. But usually when we go into page setup and change our orientation and print that report, usually when we come back to that report again, it holds that orientation. So that should default to holding that once you change it. But again, I'm not sure if that's a bug in 18. Most people are still on 17 because 18 is going out right now in a staggered release. But I'll have to check with the programmers and see if that's a bug or if something's happened there. Somebody said it is in 17 as well. Maybe that's something that doesn't work in donations. I know in accounting, it holds that orientation change. So I'm seeing lots of people mention that in questions. I will check with the programmers on that and let them know that might be a possible bug in donations. All right. So that's what I wanted to show you, the reports you can get out of the Enter Donation screen prior to posting, as you're posting, or what reports to print out if you forget during posting and you want to print those reports out. So, wow, I finished with 1 minute to spare. We can stick around and answer questions. If you need to leave, just click the X on the upper right corner of your GoToWebinar toolbar, and that will close you out of the classroom. Thanks for attending. But Marla and I can stick around and answer questions. I don't know that we both need to stick around. If you're in the middle of typing a question, you might want to hit enter so it sends part of that to me, and then finish typing the rest, because I would hate to close the room while you're in mid-sentence. The D on reports after the name, that shows in version 18. That's not in version 17. That's an addition to version 18, and that indicates that the person is a donations giver, or you went up to add individual or add group and added that to donations. It's just a record that exists in the donation module. There's not a record over in membership or visitors. Are there any more questions? You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. I'm getting some thank yous coming through. You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions? All right. Well, we did record this class, so um, once it is cleaned up and standardized, we will add it to our new version resource page along the left here under support. If you haven't gone here yet, this is a page with free movies. Most of them are 20 minutes long, some are an hour long, but all of these are free. And the list just keeps growing, and we keep adding movies that are with the most current version of the program. So if you're on an older version, these do not show the older contribution or the older financial. They're all on the most current version of the program. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I am going to go ahead and close this classroom and end our user group. Again, thank you so much for attending. And if you have questions, you definitely can email support@churchwindows.com or feel free to give support a call and we'll call you back and help you out. Have a great day and thanks again for attending. Bye.